Yeah, how do I think about the academic part of it? How do I think about the research part of it? I've always sort of straddled uh, the role between researcher and practitioner. I think work and this work is most exciting when we're able to see kind of what the research says when it's informed by data. But when we can apply it, because there's a world of research that exists in the vacuum that is it's itself quite faulty, and vulnerable to the biases of the researchers that are conducting the research. And then there's also the real world, which it's like, okay, so this experiment worked with like 30 students at Harvard. Is not, we don't know if it's going to work at your company. In Boston. So I think that for me though, the promise of that was really great. And I think, and this is not to like um, degrade or slam anybody who's done DEI prior, but I think at that time what you were seeing in the space was a lot of like feel good stuff, but not stuff that was backed by evidence. A lot of interventions that were based on comfort and not effectiveness. And I think for me, it just became really a priority. Like, if we're going to do this, like really do this, we need to be as rigorous as we can because these are people's lives at stake, right? These people's livelihoods. And so we can't just do what feels nice in the moment. We really have to focus on what we think is going to work based on the evidence. And that was like one of the foundational pieces of the vision for me and the vision for ReadySet. And so, just to answer the question about what was the vision for ReadySet, I think I wanted us to do DEI differently. When I started ReadySet in 2015, what I saw in the space was like a lot of unconscious bias training. We never did that. No shade to the people who do it, but we didn't feel like it was rigorous. We never did it. We saw a lot of kind of ad hoc approaches to diversity, equity, and inclusion. We saw a lot of folks who struggled to connect that work to the core business and the broader social impact questions that were just starting to bubble up. I mean, today now we're in a post Me Too world, post Black Lives Matter movement world, post COVID world. All of these issues and movements and social changes had a huge impact and connection to how people interacted with the workplace, which is the fundamental question of diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? The role that work plays in people's lives and the kind of products or services that companies put out there, and the way that it interacts with viewers, customers, etc. But at the time when we started ReadySet, that wasn't really there. I wasn't in the zeitgeist, right? And I think for me, I wanted to help people make that connection. In my ideal world, we never would have had Me Too. We never would have had to have, the BLM movement, but we did, right? And we're now starting to see the role that companies, corporations, organizations play socially as well as within our work lives. That said, I never could have imagined that we would be, where we are today. We're one of the larger firms in the space. We work globally, and we're still trying to push the envelope. And I think that's really important because this work is advancing rapidly, and the needs of people are changing just like that. And for us to be effective, we have to stay on top of that. So I could have never imagined some of the conversations we're having today. I could never imagine the ways that we would be supporting our clients today. I could never imagine the industries that we're working in today. But I think that you know that might be part of the design, right? Like, I hope that 10 years from now there's a future that I couldn't have imagined today.